Hey, gang. Um, Looks like we got about three people in here. Blair, I just wanted to say I hope you're still in here. Again, I'd like to say on camera that is really awesome that you got to meet Dean Cameron about 2 hours ago at Crypticon. And for those of you that didn't see what Blair put in the chat, um, he said that one, he told Blair that his favorite scene was the driver's ed scene in summer school. And he also said that he remembered me saying how nice Dean Cameron was, and he certainly was. So I am so glad, Blair, that you had such an awesome experience with him. It it would be a shame if I told, people that somebody was great to meet and then they had a bad experience. I didn't think that would happen with Dean Cameron, but you never know. Somebody could have an off day and be like, the person meeting them could be like, Dana said that this person was great. They weren't great. Hey, Blissful. So, um, I'll do my usual blabbing before the watch along. Um, and in case you forgot, and not sure you're in the right place, this is the summer school watch along. There is another movie. There's a movie called Summer School Teachers, which is definitely not the one we're watching. But I think there's like an old romance movie from like the 70s that's called Summer School. But this is the one from the 80s, starring Mark Harmon, Kirstie Alley, Dean Cameron, Gary Riley are in this. Um, Shawnee Smith, uh, is it Kelly Minter, who has had roles in a lot of 80s films, including a really quick part in The Lost Boys. I think her full name is like Kelly Joe Minter. So we will definitely see her in this movie. Also, Shawnee Smith has been in a lot of 80s movies as well. And I believe she was in some of the later Saw sequels, and she was in The Blob as well. But you're going to see a lot of familiar faces from 80s films. Um, I, honestly, I've seen Mark Harmon in a lot of stuff. I think this is his best role. I mean, I've even seen him play Ted Bundy in The Deliberate Stranger, for which he did an awesome job and just kind of cements the fact of what a great actor he is, that he could play such a reprehensible character as opposed to playing Freddie Shoop on this. I prefer to watch him in this. He does awesome in The Delivered Stranger playing Ted Bundy, but I would rather watch him in his antics any day, uh, rather than, I don't want to watch The Delivered Stranger every day. One thing, it's long. Another thing, it's for the most part downbeat because it's dealing with the serial killer. Um, and sometimes you just don't want to watch people that you love watching in comedic stuff or something be so reprehensible. They're good at it. I mean, they're an excellent actor or actress in some cases. Um, but yeah, I would a million times over rather watch him play Freddie Shoop in Summer School. Hey, Uncle Bill, are you going to be able to come in tonight? I know you're doing a round table later, but we should be done before that. So if you want to come in tonight, and if anybody else wants to come in tonight, feel free. We've gotten bumped up to 7 now. Um, so again, I'm going to do my I've already did a little bit of blabbing, but I'm going to go over the upcoming watch-alongs again. Um, I'm going to talk about one thing on the Daily Grindhouse. It's not something that I got in today or anything, or it's probably been over a week since I got this in, but I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. And I think the next time I do disturbing horror, I'm going to bring this one up as one of my five for that. And you know how I said I was probably going to do it on Thursdays? I think I'm going to bump it up to Tuesdays because I've finished up my summer camp slashers. So I might just move that to Tuesday. So excuse me. So let's go through these. Tonight, of course, we're doing summer school. July 15th will be the 1990s Scream. July 16th, Sleepaway Camp. July 22nd, Jaws 2. July 23rd is the John Cusack vehicle, Say Anything. Probably one of my all-time favorite John Cusack movies. Um, July July 29th, Sleepaway Camp 2. July 30th, Sleepaway Camp 3. August 5th will start the first ever two-part watch-along that I've ever had, which is Stephen King's Salem's Lot, directed by the late, great Tobe Hooper. So August 5th will be part 1 of Salem's Lot, and August 6th will be part 2. August 12th will be what most people refer to, and by most, I mean most people that like horror movies do not like this film. But I think we're going to have a fun time with the watch along. I would like to cordially pre-invite both CK and Uncle Bill to that one, because hell, I would love to have both of those guys on on with me for that watch along. This is probably the third or fourth watch along and or commentary that I did for Terror on Tour. Okay. August 13th will be what most people refer to as one of the greatest music movies ever made, or one of the greatest rock movies ever made, and that is Almost Famous. August 19th is the original Pet Cemetery. Uncle Bill, are you asking which? Oh, Terror on Tour. I mean, you're invited tonight to come on the summer school one, um, if you want to. But oh man, you would not come on Terror on Tour with me. Oh, come on, Uncle Bill. I think it would be fun. It's not like you'd really have to watch the movie. I mean, we'd be talking over it. But all right, if you say hard pass, okay. Anyway, August 20th is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. August 26th is Carrie. That is the original Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma. And August 27th will be Mystic Pizza. Again, gonna try to get my hands on a frozen Mystic Pizza from the local Whole Foods here in Louisville. And so we're going to go ahead and I am going to put the invite back into the chat here in case anybody should need that, including Uncle Bill. And we're going to go ahead and kick off the Daily Grindhouse. So here we go. All right. Oh, that's okay, Blissful. If you can't find an actual Mystic Pizza, who knows? I may not be able to find one at the Whole Foods when I get ready to do this. So, making your own and saying, let's pretend That is perfectly okay with me. All right. So, what I wanted to talk about for just a little bit, because I am going to plan on having this as one of my five for the uh, disturbing horror films. The next one of those I do. But this is Dead and Buried, which is a 4K that I got in like about a week or so ago. And I watched it this afternoon and was again struck by number one, how well made this movie is. And number two, how very creepy and dark and atmospheric this movie is. And it looks very good in the 4K. One thing I always talk about the Dolby Atmos sound, or Dolby Atmos, however you pronounce it. Um, but this one, like, I had this sucker blasting, and the sound effects and the music were fine. They were fantastic. But the dialogue, I was having a really hard time um, hearing it. And I had it turned up to 60, and I still was having trouble understanding some of the dialogue. It just seemed like they were moving their mouths almost, and nothing was coming out. And it's not like I'm deaf or anything. Um, but um, but the picture quality looks fantastic. But I guess my only gripe with this package is how the Dolby Atmos or Dolby Atmos sound is. Um, but I'll talk more about this, like I said, when I do my next disturbing horror films. Um, and this will definitely be on that group of five. So, um, another little note, this also does have Robert England, pre Freddie Robert England, in this as well. So, I'd probably like to do a watch along for Dead and Buried at some point in time. So if there are some of you out there that have not seen Dead and Buried, and you can find a for free version, I say, man, watch this film, because the first time I saw that movie, I had no idea how great and how creepy and dark, disturbing, all that stuff it was going to be. But it is just a fantastic horror film. Okay, so I am using my Blu-ray. This is a Shout Select version. I was thinking Uncle Bill said he had this version of it. Again, I don't know if he's going to be able to come in tonight. I was kind of hoping he would. Like I said, I do know that he has that horror roundtable tonight, but I think we should be done way, way before that, because this is not a super long movie. And if I get my button gear and get this thing started here, it won't take no time at all. Superstition last night seemed to just go like that. Of course, it was a little bit shorter than summer school, but not much shorter. Okay, so I don't know how you guys are watching this. There is a version that looks really good on YouTube. There are commercials, but after like a couple of seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, you can skip the commercial on YouTube. So, um, thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. But on my Blu-ray, I am queued up 10 seconds in. We're seeing the Paramount logo, and upbeat rock and roll music is showing on the subtitles. So, I'd like to do a final roll call to see if anybody wants to join me on here, um, live on the stream, to talk about this Fantastic film. And again, like me and Uncle Bill were saying last night, we don't understand why Steve would say that Ski School, which also has Dean Cameron in it, um, he likes better. It's like, how can you be a horror fan and not like this one better? Because this has freaking Chainsaw and Dave in it. These huge horror fans that want to show the Texas Chainsaw Massacre during summer school and all that stuff. These two guys are guys after my own heart here. And I think many horror fans' hearts as well. So I'll give it about another minute or two. Last roll call to see if anybody wants to join me live on this. And then I guess I'll go ahead and get started. If you come in here later and need a timestamp, I'll be glad to give you one. If anybody decides later that they want to come in live on the stream with me, feel free to say, hey, Dana, I want to, can you put that link back in? I'll join you live on the stream, barring it not being 30 seconds before the movie's over. All right. Let's see. Blair, you say he was talking about a movie he was in called Bad Dreams. I'd never heard of it. Oh, yeah. That was not a comedic movie, definitely for him, Blair. He was great in it. Bad Dreams is an awesome movie. Jennifer Rubin is also in it. Has like a Manson-like cult aspect to it, and all of that. But yeah, if you can get a hold of that, Blair, I would highly recommend Bad Dreams. Actually, I think I have. This actually is a double. This is a double feature from. I know a lot of people hate Scream Factory nowadays, but I bought this a while back, and this has Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours on it. So if you could get your hands on that, you know, but you might want to watch it for free version, Blair, before you like spend out any money on it, though. All right, so I'm guessing that nobody. I'm going to put on my sad face. I'm guessing that nobody wants to join in live with me on the stream for this. So Uncle Bill may make a decision in the next few minutes, but I'm going to have to go ahead and get this thing started. So we're not here all night. And so there's not, as they say in Pulp Fiction, uncomfortable silences. So is everybody that's watching this tonight, is everybody all queued up? I may wait another minute or so I know Blissful told me earlier that she was planning on watching this. So Blissful, are you queued up? Blair, are you going to watch tonight? Uncle Bill, are you going to watch tonight from the safety of your own home instead of being here live on the stream? So Blissful, I get a yes from Blissful. We'll give it about another minute or so here before we do the countdown. So I hope everybody had a pretty relaxing Sunday. I think Steve's a little depressed because what do you got to do for this round table, Uncle Bill, except be there? Jesus Christ, dude. Or, like, is there some kind of theme or something there? You ain't doing that till 10, right? Ah, man. I was hoping somebody would come on here with me. Oh, well. Maybe I can wait a while and do it again. But like I was saying, Steve, I think's a little depressed because he's gonna have to go back to work tomorrow. It's like you have a week off. See, that's what happens. You just it's double or triple the pain of going back. So, all right. Without further ado, I think I've stalled long enough. We're gonna go ahead and get this movie started here. So let's do the 3, 2, 1 and press play, and we'll get this party started here. So 3, 2, 1, press play. So again, we're seeing the Paramount logo and the stars going around. Paramount back when it was still a Gulf Western company. And for you guys, we got a lot of young nubile skin there. Just for a little bit. You're going to see more chicks in bikinis and bathing suits. This is directed by Carl Reiner. I mean, look at this. Like, this is how I would have liked my school locker to have looked. But however, like people thought I was weird enough. Um, so Kirstie Alley, Mark Harmon, Robin Thomas, Patrick Laborto, Courtney Thorne Smith, Dean Cameron, Gary Riley. There's Kelly Jo Minter right there. Ken Olant, who was in April Fool's Day as well. You're going to see him coming up. Shawnee Smith. And there's Ken Olant there. You're going to figure out why he's sleeping so much here a little bit later. Blissful, you say your best friend in high school had a bullwhip in her locker? Holy cow. Wonder what she was doing with that. And there is the great Mark Harmon. That's right, Blair. E.G. Daily sang the theme song. Now, Freddie Shoup, Mark Harmon's character, is what you would call a cool teacher. He's also the PE teacher or gym teacher. Now, all of these kids that are currently in this room are supposedly have failed a skills test. And they're going to have to go to summer school and then retake the test. But you're going to notice that there's only a core group of people that's going to be left after like this first or second day. And that's going to be your core actors. Blissful, you say we tried to be cool yet terrifying rebels without a clue. LOL. So Freddie thinks he's going to be going to Hawaii with his girlfriend Kim, the blonde that you saw there. Really takes me back to my school days and getting out for summer. So this guy here has just won the lottery, and he's not going to teach summer school. So you're surely going to see old Caliban here, who's a dick, actually. Um, he's trying to get somebody to replace the teacher that just won the lottery. And Freddie is seeing that, they're all getting the hell out of Dodge here. And he doesn't want to miss out on going to Hawaii with Kim. So he's telling her to take the car, go to the airport. He'll meet her at the airport or get a taxi. He says, take Wonder Mutt with you. Of course, Wonder Mutt's going back behind the bush with Freddie. So he's going to use oh, sorry, it's not Caliban, it's Mr. Gills. Gills is a dick. Caliban's the actual principal. This guy's like assistant principal, I guess. But Gills is planning on using Freddie's upcoming tenure to force him to teach summer school. Yeah, that's exactly right, Blissel. That's why you never overpack. So you're about to see a girl that's um, not really into Freddie as much as he had hoped, because she just says, I'll go to Hawaii without you. Yeah, Blair. That's what Steve was telling me yesterday. He said that Dean Cameron did play Spicoli in the Fast Times at Ridgemont High TV show. Actually, I was thinking Steve told me there were two different incarnations of a Fast Times at Ridgemont High TV show, and neither one of them lasted very long. So there's the late great. I know she was in Scientology, guys and gals, but I always loved Kirstie Alley, and I was still sad when she passed away. So I always thought of Kirstie Alley's character in this as an extension of her her character in Look Who's Talking, because they just had this conversation here that Freddie noticed she wasn't wearing a wedding ring, and she said, "My mother noticed that too." And in um, Look Who's Talking, of course, she is having an affair with a married man in that, but she doesn't, and she gets pregnant by the guy, but then the guy doesn't want to make a commitment to her. But her mother doesn't know about that, and frankly, she doesn't want her mother to know about it, and tells her that she got some frozen sperm and got artificially inseminated. Um, but her mother's always, talking about she's not married. So I always thought of those two characters as an extension of one or the other. Sorry about that. And here we get the pretty much the introduction to Chainsaw and Dave there, played by Dean Cameron and Gary Riley. Dean Cameron's been in a lot of stuff. Gary Riley's been in a lot of stuff too. Most notably, Gary Riley was in Stand By Me as one of kind of like the bad boys. I love this part because he calls him Francis Grimp, and he says, "Don't ever call me that." He says the name's Chainsaw, and he says, as in Black and Decker, he says, as in Texas Massacre. That was probably the line that cemented me loving this movie forever. Being the horror fan that I am, I was like, this movie is my kind of movie. So Jerome is pissed because, he said the computer made an error. He passed that test. So Shawnee Smith's character is a very, very pregnant girl. And there is good old Kelly Joe. So Chainsaw and Dave are about to play a little game of hot and cold with Freddie here because he can't find his car keys. So here's this the swear session here. Jizzlehead. So then they switch to the obscene gestures. Y'all love Kirstie Alley here. So this guy, he goes to the bathroom. We don't see him for the remainder of the movie. And then that gives, other people license to start leaving. And so a lot of these people that are leaving here they don't show back up. So poor Freddie, he's got to go to Robin, Kirstie Alley's character, to ask for help because he just doesn't know what to do. So she tells him, you're a semi charming guy. You're just not the type of guy I date anymore. So now Freddie unfortunately finds out that Robin is dating Gills. But that's just because she didn't know what a dickhead Gills is yet. So poor Denise, she's trying to get her driver's license and not doing too well. Bless her heart. This is what I always imagined myself doing if I went for my driver's license. And oh boy. Remember the days when we had these fast photo places? Can you imagine those guys working in a place like that and making reprints of like? But first of all, if you're going to take nude pictures of somebody, why would you take them to a public place like that? I mean, I guess that was probably the only way you could get them printed, unless you did the developing yourself. But surely we had Polaroid instant cameras then. I think I would have used that. So here's where we get the talk about how guys say it's unfair, because they say it's a female thing, indicating that they're on their period. And so Dave says girls are so lucky, and then Denise gets upset. I would probably be like Denise. You think being on your period's a picnic? So here we get the entrance of Anna Maria, the foreign exchange student, who Chainsaw and Dave, plus a lot of the other guys in class, are completely smitten with. One thing I can say, I love her dress, or skirt, or whatever you want to call it. So Freddie manages to pick the one thing that looks semi interesting, and that's book reports. Okay, so now Chainsaw and Dave are formally introducing themselves to Anna Maria here. They bring up fellatio. I'm not sure why they would have Horton Hears a Who in a high school library unless they had it for, like, you know, kids with obvious mental disabilities or learning disabilities, I should say. I love this whole conversation they have about Leatherface too. So Pam got caught trying to go surfing. So yeah, I would have to agree with Chainsaw and Dave there that there's a valid, very valid reason for summer vacation, that the brain needs rest. So I always thought, I understand kind of the back end sort of thinking about summer school. However, I was a kid once too. And, if I had been told that I had to go to school in the summer, that would have freaking sucked. Um, so I totally, even still, yet, I'm 47 years old now. These characters, of course, the actors and actresses are a lot older now, older than I am, actually. But I still identify with these characters. So they're taking field trips instead of, they're going to different places instead of, learning English. Poor Denise, she's even having trouble with this thing here. So Larry, I think that's Ken Owens' character, and they even go to the amusement park, which is awesome. I haven't been to an amusement park in a long time. So Larry's not getting to really enjoy this stuff because he's sleeping. Again, we're going to figure out why he's doing so much sleeping here in a little bit. Ekin got pretty sick. So now they're at a petting zoo. Again, Larry's asleep there. See, that's why you don't lean up against a fence when there's goats around, because that would happen to your Rolling Stone shirt. I like the joke about the Stones' first farewell tour. So everybody that has seen this always likes the uh, face-eating bunnies or bunnies from hell section of the movie. So Anna Marie actually likes all this blood and guts, fake, like the latex skin and all that stuff. So now they're talking Freddie into a trip to the beach because they want to see Anna Maria in her bikini. So yeah, more eye candy for you guys there. But I must admit, Anna Maria is a beautiful girl. And she's about to take her top off when Denise says, "Whoa, girl, this ain't the Riviera." Larry's asleep again. To be honest, that's what Steve will probably be doing. He'd just be finding places to sleep all over. All right, so the shit's about to hit the fan here because Ekian's grandma says he had goat hairs on his clothes and he was sneezing and wheezing and coughing. Plus, she found out he went to the amusement park. And you can tell that Gills is just a complete and total asshole because he's calling these kids social deviants. We know as watchers of the movie that these kids aren't bad kids. So Gills is saying, when Kelban comes back, he's going to officially fire you and you're suspended until he comes back and does so. But Freddie says, what if I become a model teacher? To which this seems to be a source of amusement to Gills. And he says, this is going to be fun. He said, if you get every kid left in your class to pass that test, I'll forget about your field trips. So now he's straight laced. He's got a suit and tie on. No more gym teacher, Freddie Shue. Oh, and Chainsaw knows he means business because he calls him by his real first name, which is Francis. So Chainsaw and Dave, Chainsaw especially is wanting to leave. And Dave, being his best friend, is going to leave with him. So these are typical kids that got, ground up in the system. They begin to believe what people are saying about them. So Freddie tells them that they can all pass the test, but they've got to do some studying. So they all make a deal with him, with Freddie, that they will study if he grants each one of them one wish. So this is going to be really the start of where things start to unravel for Freddie. So Denise needs driving lessons. Uh, Shawnee Smith's character, I think of Rhonda, she needs a Lamaze coach. Um, a Chainsaw and Dave want to show the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And they also want to have a party at Freddie's house. And because Anna Maria doesn't have to take the test, they'll take her wish. They want chauffeur service every day to and from school by Freddie. Okay, so Pam, if you haven't figured that out yet, Pam has got a crush on Freddie. And she says she'll let Mr. Shoot know what her wish is in private. So, and Larry wants a bed. And all Ekion wants is to be invited to the party that they're going to have. Oh, and Kevin back there, he needs somebody to coach him in football. Like he needs kind of like a sparring partner for football. So now Freddie freaks out. They're ready to learn. So he's going to go enlist Robin's help once again. To which she says, shouldn't we plan a field trip to 7-Eleven? Um, so he tells her something really bizarre has happened to his kids. And she says, if I get over there and there's a candlelight dinner, and she thinks he passed out Valium. So she says, basically, if you're serious, I'll help you. And she says, meet me after school. We'll make plans for the weekend. To which the kids, having the dirty minds that they do, so Robin's telling him, what you need to do is base your lesson plans on the students' own experiences. That will make them, more comfortable, and then it'll make it easier to get them to study. I like this little segment because it's like their kids, because he's saying, "I know you like me," and she said, "I don't either," and he's like, "You do too." So now Freddie's telling them that if they learn to write, use the proper form for writing a letter, and they complain about a product, for instance, chainsaw sunglasses there that keep falling apart. Um, he's telling them they can get free stuff, free shit. And everybody likes that, right? So now naturally they're excited to learn this. Now he's helping Kevin. So, guys, you guys feel free to keep watching. We got 7 people in here. I'm going to step away and grab something real quick to snack on here. Um, because blood sugar's feeling a little bit low, so I don't want to take a chance. Be right back. No, Uncle Bill, I'm back. I had to step away and give me something to eat. We lost a whole bunch of people when I went away. I think we had like 7 or 8. But I went and got me some Hershey's miniatures and also had to get run to the restroom as well. So, no, Steve didn't kidnap me. Steve's asleep. I made it back in time to see Denise doing her first driving lesson in Freddie's car. So poor Freddie is frankly trying to clean up his house as they're messing it up. But things are going to get really messed up here shortly. Now, they put, Mexican firecrackers and cantaloupes here. So Larry is waking up and he's like, oh shit, he's late. We don't know at this point what he is late for, but we're going to find out. I may be speaking out of turn here, but most guys would not be, number one, they wouldn't be interested in a pregnant woman or girl. Number two, um, even if they were interested in the pregnant girl, they wouldn't be interested in taking on the responsibility of a child that is not theirs. So this Kevin is kind of a one in a million guy. You don't see that very often. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in real life. I'm just saying it don't happen very often. So the thing about Pam having a crush on Freddie, under normal circumstances, you would kind of think this is cringy. But number one, Freddie's not your average teacher. And he appears to be in his 30s here. I'm not sure exactly how Mark Harmon was. Um, and later on, you're going to see that Pam is currently like living with I think her sister and brother in law and nieces and nephews. And when she actually wants to move in with Freddie, they don't really seem to care. But you can obviously tell that this is making Freddie uncomfortable. He knows that this is not right, that he shouldn't have a relationship with a student. So Freddie does the right thing and he, manages to get out of the situation. Okay. So things are just about to go horribly wrong here because, you don't bring fireworks like that inside of a house. But he throws it outside the house, but where's Wondermutt going? Wondermutt brought the firework back and laid it on the couch. This is not good. And this goes from bad to worse because just as he gets it out, they come with Freddie's fish tank of fish. So Freddie's upset. He's like, party's over. Good night. Oh boy. You don't want to get caught on the beach with vodka and orange juice and be underage on top of that. So, oh, Freddie comes along at absolutely the wrong point in time. Freddie tries to help him out. And he says, "No, that's not their alcohol. It's mine. They were just watching it for me." So instead of taking these kids in, they're going to take Freddie in. So, and also, they say contributing to the delinquency of the minor. And also, he's not supposed to have a dog on the beach. This would not be a place for a guy to end up, shirtless, shorts on, and roller skates. Yeah. So Robin and Gills are getting ready. I also like Robin's dress there, by the way. I love dresses like that. Um, but they're just about to head off on vacation, and he thought he was, getting Robin's answer machine. He didn't know Gills was there, and he called Gills a bite in the ass. So now Robin is starting to see what an asshole Gills really is. So Robin is now trying to help Freddie out. So now Freddie's depressed, and he's eating peanut butter and jelly on his finger. And he says Kim's in Hawaii, Robin's in the wine country. I wonder how much peanut butter that dog actually got. All right, so now we're going to figure out why Larry has been asleep, because he has a night job, as we can see. So Freddie's trying to, get him a woman. He's not planning on seeing Larry here doing some striptease action there. And keep in mind, guys and gals, that this is only PG-13, so we're not really going to see all that much. So Freddie's telling him, if you could just get a couple hours of sleep in, you could catch up. So Larry seems to have has it all figured out. I love how they do this report on the person that they admire most, and they talk about a special makeup effects guy, Rick Baker, um, and I believe this had to be 100 words, and they really go for it by putting very in there a whole heck of a lot of times. It's 100 words on the nose. So we're gonna soon figure out that Denise has a learning disability. She's dyslexic, and that is why when Freddie asks her for her paper, um, she comes up with some excuse why she doesn't. She says she had to memorize her essay, and because she was mugged by a gang looking for money and homework. So now they really are going on a field trip, but they're going to the courthouse because Freddie's got to go to court for the little incident on the beach. So now when Freddie comes home, there is Pam waiting for him because this is her wish. She wants to move in with him. And then there's your typical like bachelor groceries there. It looks like we got some frozen pizzas, we got Doritos, Kellogg's cornflakes. Um, okay, so Tommy's her brother. Okay, so it's her brother and sister in law and nieces and nephews that she's living with. Wonder if that's Mama Celeste pizzas, because that's what it looked like, and I remember there being Mama Celeste pizzas, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. See, they don't act at all concerned that she's moving in with her English teacher. All right, so here's the great part where they're actually having the screening of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I would have been exactly like Chainsaw and Dave. And actually, um, not when I was in school, but when I was working for my first library job, I created a program and had kind of like drive-in movie night. Um, I showed Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Army of Darkness, and talk about fun. And the planning was fun and all of that. I still love a lot of the colors of the 80s clothing too, Blitzwell. So the letters they sent, or some of the people sent, Chainsaw sent, one to the place, the cool dude sunglasses or whatever it was. And they sent a whole box of free sunglasses. So now this is actually where we're going to find out that Denise is dyslexic because she's asking Ekin to help her with her letter. And we can see that Ekin is, I wouldn't say disturbed, but he knows that, Denise needs some help with stuff. So he's going to show this to Freddie. So Kevin is really interested in Rhonda. So he says, I was hoping, we could do something. And she said, well, I got a Le Mans class. You want to come with me? And he says, wouldn't Shoot going with you? And she said, oh, he won't mind. Coco, you say the Dollar Tree carries a Celeste pizza. Not sure if Mama is part of the title, probably. Oh, cool. So Robin actually tells him this girl's dyslexic. So this goes to show you too, even though this is a comedy movie, this shows you how literally, and this happens a lot more often than we would like to admit, that kids just fall through the cracks. They get left behind in the system. I don't care if the school system says no child left behind or whatever, it happens, unfortunately. And we're really, this is really kind of letting us take a peek inside the educational system, at least at this point in time. And she's trying to defend Gills here. I do love the, I guess, what you would call sexual tension between Robin and Freddie um, during all this. Coco, you say, I've never understood how kids make it through high schools and can't read. Some sad shit. Yes, it is very sad. And yeah, it's hard to really to wrap your head around. It really is, and it's so sad how it happens. Okay. So Denise is going for her driving exam again. Chainsaw's also going for his, but he's like, my parents are late with the car. Can I take yours? Hmm. Something good can never come of this. Because for one thing, Chainsaw's overconfident. So now we're switching back to Denise taking her test. And, of course, the guy's like, don't worry about me. Um, but she's nervous because he's obviously marking down stuff. So he wants her to parallel park, which is a sore spot for Denise. But she's going to try her best here. and she managed to do it. So Chainsaw is like turning on the music, which is a big no no. I remember my mom telling me about when she took her driver's test, she forgot she had the radio on. And the guy that was giving her driving test was a real asshole, pretty much. That's all he said. I don't think we need none of that. So you definitely don't want to have any loud music playing. So Chainsaw has ran into a tree, basically messed up Freddy's car, um, and failed this test, basically. So Denise thinks she's going to fail yet again. And he says 70 is passing. You made a 72. I love this because anybody that has ever struggled with anything, whether it be a driver's test or some other kind of test, um, you can really identify with this. I think Kelly Jo Minner does an excellent job. So Freddie's going to tell her, okay, you can do something for me. And she says, what? He said, get some help with your reading. Coco, you say an aunt took me and my bro to see this movie as kids. I loved it. Still one of my fave movies. I get a great feeling watching it. Me too, Coco. You know, like I have told you guys before, and I'm not meaning to harp on the whole depression thing, but I have been being a little more depressed here lately. So, you know, being able to watch these movies again, I could watch them without doing a watch along for them. However, I have even more fun, especially when Steve can't sit down or just doesn't want to sit down and watch these with me or doesn't have time or whatever. I can feel like I'm watching them with friends, with you guys. And so that always makes me feel better. So Pam is like doing like the wife thing. She's fixing dinner and all that. Oh, and Robin comes in at the wrong time and thinks that there's something, going on between Freddie and Pam. And Robin's gonna really get upset with him here. And unfortunately, Pam is acting a little more pushy than she should. So, I mean, really, what did Freddie expect? He's trying to explain to her, though, remember those bribes, to get the kids to study. Um, and she tells him, she said, I just hope having a maid is worth the damage you could do to that young girl, which is going to, make Freddie really think. So actually, Freddie shouldn't have let it get to this point, but he tells her, I think you're a great girl. And she says, yeah, you're a great guy. And so he tries to do a surfing metaphor, which is going to sadly backfire on him. What he's trying to tell her is he's not the right guy for her. that she will find the right guy, but she takes it the wrong way and thinks that he's saying that she's, you know, not the right girl for him. So that final thing of says it's just food and she leaves. All right. So Pam's obviously not going to give him homework. She said, "You expect me to relate to the written word after the hell you put me through." And he says, "You're excused." What else is he going to say here? So Larry is like, "Miss Shoop, don't you want mine?" And he finds out, he's like, "What's wrong?" He said, "I got fired. They found out my age." Because his mom came to the show, she put $5 in his G string before she realized it was her son, and her Aunt Edna, I guess, French kissed him. So, just a note, guys, we got approximately 30 minutes left in the movie. So, for those, I'm going to do a little advertising for Dead Pit for Uncle Bill's Horror Roundtable here. For those of you that wanted to go and attend that, you will be able to do so in plenty of time. I may even pop on over there depending, on how tired or not tired I am. Hopefully, I'm not too tired. Oh, I agree, Coco. You say Mark Harmon was and still is a handsome man. Surprised he wasn't more of a leading man. Yeah. I mean, I was talking about him playing Ted Bundy in The Deliberate Stranger, um, which, I've looked at pictures of Ted Bundy, and I mean, maybe back in the 70s he would have seemed attractive, but I think Mark Harmon was way more attractive than Ted Bundy. And even though he was playing a reprehensible character in that, he was still nice looking. um, but yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'm surprised too that he wasn't more of a leading man because he very well could have been. You didn't see The Deliberate Stranger? Yeah, I believe it was a two-part miniseries. I didn't think it was in the 70s. I thought it was like early to mid 80s when that was on, but don't quote me on that. But it was based on a book by a journalist that was friends with Ted Bundy, and had no idea and didn't want to believe for a long time that Ted Bundy was the one that was killing all those women. So it's a very, I think I read the book too, but it's been a while. Um, but yeah, I would say if you're interested in that kind of, got a morbid curiosity or you're interested in true crime, that's a very, very good film. Okay. So Freddie's going to get upset here. because he's wanting them to do some extra studying and they're wanting to renegotiate the contract with him. And they threaten to go on strike. So Freddie's not having any more of this. He says, I've given up all my free time. I've been used as a tackling dummy. My house been trashed. My couch set on fire, and my goldfish has been murdered. And he got thrown in jail. His car wrecked. And he says, all I'm asking from you guys is a little extra effort. Right, Blissful, 1986. Thank you. Coco, good question. I would like to think that I have good instincts. Like if old Ted approached you, would alarms go off in your head? I feel like his eyes would have creeped me out. Yeah, that's something like my mom asked me one time why I would watch these true crime things. 'Cause it basically kind of freaked her out. And I'm not saying it didn't freak me out to some extent thinking about it. I mean, back when I was trying to read Helter Skelter, which is about the Manson murders, it took me forever to read that because kept making the mistake of reading that thing at night, and they would get to the part where they were talking about them doing creepy crawls in houses and like cutting the screens, getting into houses, and I was like, no, it's. You know. But lost my whole train of thought again. Sorry, guys and gals. Um, but my mom asked me, she's like, why do you want to watch this stuff? Doesn't it freak you out? And I said, well, one thing is morbid curiosity, which I think most people have. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people watching these things or reading these books and all of that. I think we just all have this innate morbid curiosity, whether we want to admit to it or not. The other thing with me was I'm kind of like Stephen King. Stephen King got asked why he was reading all this stuff on Charles Starkweather when he was young, and he said, well, so I want to know what to look out for. I want to know to walk on the other side of the street when I see one of these guys coming. And so that was kind of like that with me because I want to know, what makes these people tick. You don't really want to crawl inside their head, but you want to know how to avoid these types of people. And I think that was the other part of the thing. So yeah, I would like to say that I would. That's a long answer to your question, Coco. Sorry. Coco, you say I read a book on him 20 plus years ago and crazy, obviously. You say not 2010. Yeah, Blissful, good point. It's human nature to read or watch things we wouldn't do. So here's another big scene here where Gills, has said that, basically Freddie quit and he's trying to find somebody to replace him. So Chainsaw and Dave to the rescue. They use their special makeup effects expertise to doctor everybody up and make them look like they've been murdered gruesomely. And they're scaring any potential future teachers because they want Freddie back. This is another one of my favorite scenes, and this movie is just chock full of favorite scenes. So here, Chainsaw and Dave doing the Leatherface dance, and he's like, "What's wrong with you people?" They say it's like you said, Gills, we're psychopaths. So this future possible teacher says, I'm not ready for high school. So they say, we want to shoot back. So they say basically, if you don't let Shoop come back, we've got more in store for tomorrow and the day after and the day after. So they make a deal with Gills here, sort of. Oh, Coco, I do too. You say I love Dave's leopard print beret, loved it then and still think it's cool. So Freddie's a little, not feeling himself, and he throws Bob into the ocean, and Wondermutt's not able to find Bob. So Wondermutt's going to be sad. So here comes Freddie's students, still with all the fake blood and stuff on them. He says, tough day at school. And they say, well, Gil said that you could have your job back. And he was like, why would I want my job back? And she tells him, he was a phase. She's outgrown him. But I still want to be friends. And she's seeing the reading specialist. Leslie, you say I love the slouch socks they had in the 80s. I finally found them recently and bought many pairs. Oh my gosh, yes. I believe that's probably my favorite kind of socks, Blissful, to be honest. So Egan's studying so hard he didn't even know that his grandma put a banana in his hand. I like this scene too, where Chainsaw is studying, and it uh it appears that he's got a mask on, but it's really on top of his head. So they did a practice test, but frankly, Freddie is worried. He's not. He's trying not to let them know he's worried, but Coco, you say, "Oh Lord, I don't miss the 8 pair of slap socks at all," and I think they're making a comeback. Yeah, I think they're definitely making a comeback, Coco, especially if Blissful found some recently. So, Wondermutt's a little depressed because he wants Bob, and Freddie's trying to make another Bob, but yeah. I would love to have something like this to wake me up with. I mean, I know that's childish, that's juvenile, but I love that room too. Look at that shit. This is going to turn out to be, though, a nightmare that Chainsaw is having. So Chainsaw's like, I don't know. His mom asks, how's he want his eggs? And his sister's asking, how do you spell something? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. And his mom and dad come in there and he's like, he's freaking out. Yeah, that part is funny, Coco. So now they're actually going to have their test. I loved outfits like Robin's got on right there. So here's the guy. He actually does show up in this part to retake the test, but he says his zipper got stuck, so he was in the bathroom for 6 weeks. So I remember these like achievement tests they were called whenever we took them. Do not open your test booklet until you're told. Use a number two pencil. Yada yada yada. Yeah, maybe I should look into to get me a sweater dress, Blissful. I did notice that they're kind of back in style. I don't know if I could pull it off or not, but maybe my 47-year-old body would. So Chainsaw has to scream there. That's a tension breaker. Oh, well, thank you, Blissful. You say I could. Coco, you say, Bliss, I like watching those TikTok dance challenges and seeing what the young folk are wearing. No extra talk. I agree, Blissful, about fashion. I was never into. What's sad is I was never into fashion when it could have been really great for me. I just freaking didn't care. And now I'm like, oh, this is so cute, or that's cute, or whatever. Or I'm just pleased when stuff comes back in fashion that I realized that I liked from like early '80s and stuff. So Rhonda is going into labor. Um, Actually, Coco, I am pretty tall. Um, I'm probably about 5'7" or so. You think I could probably rock some looks? I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm getting to the age where I don't know. Maybe I'm past my prime of doing that kind of stuff. Not that some of you gals might not be able to pull it off. Let's we say both of my parents loved fashion, and my mom taught me how to sew. We designed my senior prom dress together. That is awesome. You girls are just trying to boost my ego, aren't you? Or my self confidence, I guess I should say, of which I have zero. I've said that many times, but thank you guys for trying. They want the afterbirth and the umbilical cord. So we find out now that Rhonda is going to have the baby's going to be adopted. Because she says she's just not ready to be a mother. So she's doing the responsible thing and allowing a family that wants a child to adopt her. So Freddie thinks he's going to lose his job, and basically all the kids feel like failures. So Calban now is going through like all the stuff that went on. He says, "Quite a summer, Mr. Shoop." And Gills wants him to sign Freddie's dismissal, but the kids are here with their parents. No, and in Pam's case, her brother, and Iki and his grandmother. I think it's funny though. His father says because of him we stopped having kids, but obviously he's got a little sister, so technically they didn't stop having kids. So Denise's mother says not only did Mr. Shoot get my daughter to read, but he taught her to drive. So, in as much as a movie like this could be a feel good movie, I feel like this is a feel good movie. But Shuba's gonna, or Freddie's clearly going to show um, how much of an improvement they made. Like Rhonda went from a 29 to a 43, and she gave birth, so they're probably going to allow her to retake it. Ekin went from a 51 to a 74. Kevin went from a 48 to a 75. Chainsaw went from a 6 to a 59. Dave went from a 26 to a 70. Chainsaw's a little upset, though, at first. Pam went from a 53 to 82. But the guy who spent most of the time in the bathroom got a 91. Yeah, Coco, I can see your point. You say it does kind of bother me that the kids still score so low. I know it's improvement, but still. Um, I don't know if maybe, or maybe I'm trying to read too much into this movie, if maybe they were trying to say, even though the scores weren't perfect, the scores weren't all passing, this is showing you what can happen if you apply yourself and you have the right kind of teacher. Again, I'm not sure if that's what Carl Reiner and the writers were trying to do, but that's kind of my take on it. But I can see what you're saying about that. And poor Wonder Mutt's still looking for his Bob. I like this outfit that Robin's got on too. Yeah, what chick wouldn't be wanting to be one to be kissed by Mark Harmon on the beach and getting sand and water all over your nice clothes? If you could be kissed by Mark Harmon or a guy that looked like Mark Harmon, yeah, it'd be okay. And oh, I believe Bob has made a return. I'm just wondering if they had to put something on their faces to get that dog to lick them like that. Exactly, Coco. You say the doll head at the end always makes me happy. Even the dog gets a happy ending. Exactly. And so we have officially reached the end of summer school. And I'll let the credits run out as I normally do. Um, and again, we're going to be done in plenty of time for those of you guys and gals that want to hop on over to the horror roundtable that Uncle Bill's doing at 10 p.m. tonight, or 10 p.m. Eastern. Um, I want to thank everybody that came to the chat tonight. Sorry that I didn't have wasn't able to have Uncle Bill on here with me. I mean, he didn't promise me, so it's through no fault of his own. He probably forgot last night that he was even doing this, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he thought he might possibly have time, but I hope you guys didn't mind me going solo for this one, because I still wanted to do it, even though I didn't have a partner in crime for this one. But I hope that you guys and gals enjoyed last night's superstition, in which case I did have Uncle Bill on there with me. Um, and I know both of us had a great time, and Uncle Bill got introduced to a movie he didn't even know about, and ended up buying said movie because he liked it so well. Um, so, Bliss, what you say, you can basically recreate any era fashion by the lines of the clothes. I find pictures on Google, then search online for the modern version. Ah, interesting. Bliss, what you say, this is still one of your favorite movies. Mine too, definitely. Well, you're welcome, Blair. Thank you for coming by. And I'm so glad again that you got to meet Dean Cameron. Thank you, Bliss. What you say, you did awesome, Dana. So, here's my thinking about Monday. Unless something happens, me being sick, dead, whatever, I know I shouldn't joke about being dead, but anyway, barring anything happening, what I was toying with, the idea I was toying with was to do like a true crime, um, not a true crime watch along, but a true crime stream where I talk about a few of I don't know if I should say favorite true crime movies, but I guess it's okay to say that. And go over a few of them. And then Tuesday, do more of the five more of the disturbing horror movies. Um, then, of course, Wednesday, me and TJ are planning on continuing our Friday the 13th, the series episode breakdown with the second part of season one. We're going to try to cover like 10 episodes this time. Uh, Thursday, I don't know. And Friday, of course, I usually don't do anything on Fridays. So that will probably be the case this week as well. Um, but that's what I've got planning on upcoming. So hopefully, I'll be able to be on tomorrow night talking about a few true crime movies. Um, I'm not sure how many, but I'll try to come up with a few to talk about for Monday night. And of course, that'll more than likely be 8 p.m., starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on all of those. The Disturbing Horror on Tuesday, Friday 13th, the series episode breakdown on Wednesday, and the True Crime on Monday. Thank you, Coco. You say you do a fantastic job with the show. I am so glad that you guys and gals are enjoying it. And that I have a pretty steady crowd. Um, every time I do one of these, I've noticed some of my regulars have dropped off, and I hope that it's not anything that I have done to cause that. Um, I am hoping it's just people just being busy doing their own things and stuff, and not anything I've done or said. Um, and if it is something I've done or said, I hope that people will talk to me first before they, uh, forever and permanently stay away. Bliss, will you say that sounds great? I'm glad that you guys seem to be excited over this, about the upcoming things. I'm certainly excited about them. Um, actually, I've said before, I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it. Doing these live streams allows me to um, not be lonely, not be depressed, um, and all that stuff. And you guys have actually told me yourselves that it helps some of you guys. I mean, not everybody's depressed. Everybody's not anxious. I'm not saying that. But for those of you that do um, suffer from depression and or anxiety or any other issues, I'm glad that I am able to help alleviate some of that, uh, or my streams are able to help alleviate some of that. It could be Coco. Maybe they're drinking Budweiser at the lake. Yeah, I know it's warm, it's summer. People got a lot of stuff they're doing. I know CK told me that, his July, the month we're in, is going to be chock full of things to do. And I totally get that. I always just am concerned that I may have done inadvertently, mind you, done or said something that has drove people away, or um, I don't really want to go into details about stuff that happened, a month or so ago, um, but I'm not going to dredge it back up. But I'm hoping that due to some things that went on, I hope people aren't misinterpreting how I handled it, and being angry with me and staying away. That's all I'm saying. Um, I just don't want to retread back over that. Yeah, or following Taylor Swift. Yeah, yeah. CK's never going to live that one down. Just like Steve's never going to live down the um, over the top, like infernal rapist, rape man, all those types of movies either. Um, but guys and gals, it's been fun once again. But I think I am. My voice has been going in and out. I was not even able to talk most most of last week while I was working. And so it's probably a good thing I wasn't on the phone or having to be talking to people on the phone. And I was doing my coworker Aaron's job while he was away in Michigan helping the field techs, because I freaking couldn't talk most of the day. So I'm going to give my voice a rest and try to get a little more rest. I may try to show up at the horror roundtable that Uncle Bill is having. Um, And I encourage you guys to do so too if you don't have anything else pressing that you need to do, because it's always a good time when Dead Pit does something. Um, but on that note, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Yes, Coco says, Pop you a Starlight Mints and have a good night. Bye, ladies. Bye, Coco. And you guys have a good night. I will see you next time.